Okay, so I got a special film edit breakdown for everybody today. It's going to be of Zion. So he's been playing out of more ball screens in the past couple of weeks. Coach Van Gundy has done a great job of putting the ball in Zion's hands and having him as the ball handler. So in ball screens this season, he has had 116 possessions per synergy with 128 points produced. That's scoring and passing. That is 1.103 points per possession, which is in the 85 percentile in the NBA, which is excellent. So the clips I'm going to show you are from February 12th through February 24th. What he does a great job of is understanding that in ball screens, your first progression is always to reject the coverage. So you can see right here, he's going to attack that top foot. And now this defender, the nail defender, if he steps in to try to take away Zion's drive, it's an easy kick out. So that's why if you reject the coverage, it really forces the defense into rotation. Here we got this next clip. Now, you could see earlier when I was talking about they do a lot of inverted ball screens, which basically means it's going to be a guard setting the screen for Zion. So it's going to be J.J. Redick. It's going to be Lonzo Ball a lot. It's going to be Josh Hart. And what that allows is for the screener's defender to be a guard. So they don't really want to switch that. So you have to figure out a coverage to use against Zion in that case. So, and it also, if you don't stay squeezed up to JJ when he's the screener, then that could allow two to come to Zion, which would be an easy kick out to JJ, or it allows both defenders to get confused as JJ is the screener, and allows Zion to get straight downhill, which you'll see in these clips. And now, I give a lot of credit to the Pelicans, the guards especially. JJ, Lonzo, they do a terrific job of screening and flipping the angle. Okay, back to his rejecting the coverage. So you can see now, once he rejects, it's going to create a rotation. Mason Plumlee's got to step up outside the restricted circle. Steven Adams was in the dunkers. He goes to the opposite side, which allows for easy dump-off pass and reverse finish. Great patience by Steven Adams there. Here he is again. Rejects it, gets downhill, throws it back because when he's going to go, a lot of the time when Zion's going right, he's going to spin back to his left. He's done that since he was at Duke. So when he spins back here, you can see Pritchard is trying to dig down. He sees it out of his right eye right there that he is popping back Josh Hart, so he's going to be open for a three. Great pass. Here he is again. You can see Lonzo coming up to set the inverted ball screen, and he's just getting downhill really quickly. Open step finish. Now you can see JJ setting the screen. What JJ does a great job of is he's always trying to get a piece as a screener, because I think a lot has to do with him as a shooter, and he understands that if he can get that slight advantage when someone's screening for him, that he can now, as a screener, get that slight advantage to the ball handler. So he rejects, and you can see JJ just gets a piece, which allows for another half step for Zion getting downhill. This was awesome. So watch JJ here. He is pointing, JJ's pointing left, telling Zion where to go. So he does a terrific job here of setting it up. You can see he's looking to go middle, quick crossover. Now it's confused because of JJ. JJ sets this up so quickly. You got to stay squeezed up on JJ. He's thinking he's coming this way to wedge over top. He rejects it. Slide by finish. Now the other thing you're going to see a lot with Zion in these clips is he's going to go slide by from right to left. Here it is again. Great reject. Spins back to his left. Kyle Anderson, the nail defender, is dropping in to try to cut off. You can see how loaded the paint is, which is going to allow shooters open. Sets it up, gets right downhill. You can see he loves that crossover when he kind of goes slow, puts it right across his body, and then goes straight downhill. Watch it again. Puts it across, downhill. Okay, now he's going to be using the screen. And one of the things their screeners have done a great job of doing is basically just flipping the angle to always get a piece. as you know, your first progression is reject. Your second progression, if you're going to use the screen, is to try to split through it. So right here, he's going to try to split through because the screener's defender is disconnected. He is disconnected from JJ right now. Because he's disconnected, that can allow a split through. Wide extension with his left. Now watch Lonzo flipping the angle. You can see they're trying to go show to touch, which basically means they're going to show a defender, the screener's defender, 2 steps up to try to get a touch on Zion, and then the primary defender get over or under the coverage or the screener. Slide by, going to his left hand. Watch, like, Zion makes a great move, sets it up well, but watch JJ. Watch him as a screener. He gets right to the back and then flips it the last second, which makes it so tough as a screener defender to get a body in front of Zion. Now, one of the keys here, a lot of young players now, when they try to do this, the slide off or slide by finish, a lot of them bring the ball down to basically where your numbers are on your jersey instead of keeping it high with your elbows up high. So if someone does hit you, they hit your forearms or they hit your arm, your hand, and then you can finish through the contact so you have the ball protected with both hands. But when you drop it low, it allows for deflections. And then if you do actually get it through the shot blocker, then once you bring it up, you're going to be off, and the ball is usually going in the direction that you're going. So if you're going to your left, if he would have had it lower right here, then once it goes up, he's going to miss it to the left instead of keeping it high and then finishing like he does a great job of doing. Show to touch, slide by finish. What I mean by show to touch, okay, so watch the screener's defender right here. Shows the touch, Zion goes closed right here, and then he's downhill. And watch the ball placement. High, keeps it high, and finishes high. Great job by JJ again. Another slide by. You can see the ball stays high, finishes with his left. Also, what he does really well here, this is a great teaching point for all players, is dribble. Watch his next dribbles really quick, which allows him to get right to the block right here, so then he can go up with more power and to throw off the timing slightly of that shot blocker to be able to get that slide by through. Keeps it high. So we watch JJ flip the angle, watch Lonzo Ball here. This is terrific screening. You can see the screener's defender thinks he's going this way. He just flips the angle, gets a piece. Now you have Zion in space right here. He's going to be almost impossible to stop. This was super interesting. So he set a step-up screen here as the screener. So now he's rolling. DeAndre Ayton does a good job as the drop defender, playing 2. He takes it out. Watch what Lonzo does. Straight to a ball screen. This is going to be a coverage I think teams are going to try to use. They basically are going to squeeze up to the screener, try to go under here, but it's so low on the court it becomes a logo screen because that would be like where a logo is, like it's over here with the Verizon. So it's called a logo screen. So once he uses this, Ayton's going to try to go under again, but he's at the dots now, so he's just going to spin back to his left. That's the scout. He's going to go back to his left. Okay, he's also, as you saw earlier, how I clipped this, I wanted to show the rejects first to always think reject the coverage. But now here are some of his passing stuff, his assists too. And I understand in the reject, it had some assists too because he made the right read and it creates rotation. Show to touch, the nail defender's there at the elbow, one-hand pass, right in the shooting pocket too. That is an excellent read. This is a elite guard read in ball screens. So he comes up. You can see they're really loaded over. They screen right here. Looks opposite corner, wide open. This is what makes it so tough to guard, especially with JJ as a screener. Two are going to go with Zion. You can see he's looking there at the nail. Now you have late recovery to JJ. That's going to be a knockdown. Okay, so the last part is a little different than the inverted screen. So they're running like basically a 4-5 pick and roll. And it's forcing the switch. They did this against Dallas some. And it's basically forcing Porzingis to guard Zion on this ball screen. So you can see they force the switch. And then he's just going to beat him off the dribble. Same thing, force the switch, beats him off the dribble. You can see one of the moves he loves, and he's really good at it with his change of pace. He goes between the legs left to right, and then he quickly places the ball over top. I call it a reach crossover with his right hand to his left. And then his shoulder gets so low. And when he's so low like that, he's created his advantage to now he's playing downhill and he's almost impossible to stop. So some of the things that you saw on this is he's really good at rejecting the coverage. And when he uses the screen, the screeners are good at flipping the angle to give him a half step to turn the corner and get downhill. And then he understands that when a defense is loaded up to find his shooters open and hit them in their pocket so they can catch and go right into their shot. And then his finishing. He loves his slide by going from his right to his left, and he does a good job of keeping it high and finishing high. And then if he is going right, he's a lot of the time going to spin back to his left hand, and he did that at Duke a ton. So that's the breakdown I had on Zion, and I think you're going to see the Pelicans do a lot more ball screens with him as the primary ball handler.